Hey guys! So today, after understanding in the previous chapter the basic organization of the nervous system, we are ready to describe today the central nervous system. Now, the central nervous system, remember that we said that it consists of two organs. We have the brain, here it is, the brain, which is enclosed and protected by the skull inside or within the cranial cavity, and the spinal cord, which is a continuation of the same type of nervous tissue present on the brain. Different organization, but same type of tissue. And the spinal cord lies within the vertebral canal, which is just the canal formed by all the vertebral foramen stacked one on top of the other. Now, we said in the previous class, the previous chapter, that a stimulus uh, or several stimuli can be sensed or detected by a receptor that is connected with, can you see these little bulbs right here on either side of the vertebral column? I'm sorry, of the spinal cord. That we're gonna describe later, but that's just so you know so far is this sensory or the dorsal root ganglia. In there, I'm gonna draw it here because I don't have enough space in there. But in here is where the sensory neuron, remember sensory neurons are uni or pseudo unipolar. So the body of that sensory neuron is located right here in the ganglia. Remember, a ganglia is a group of cell neurons located on the peripheral nervous system. Aren't we talking about today a central nervous system? Yes, but I want you to understand the connection. So this sensory neuron sends information in one way, sends income, alerting information to the central nervous system, so the spinal cord and to the brain of whatever is going on outside or inside your body. And then the brain and the spinal cord processes all of that information, and from there we're going to have either here in the brain or here in the spinal cord neurons, and these neurons can be multipolar neurons. These neurons, motor neuron, exit the spinal cord and the brain, and these are sensory neurons, and this is a motor neuron located within the spinal cord and brain, and they leave as a group of axons. And a group of these axons, remember, forms a nerve, right? And these motor neurons, or the axon of this motor neuron, is going to innervate an effector. And this effector can be cardiac or smooth muscle tissue, if we're talking about visceral effectors, or and muscle if we're talking about uh, somatic a somatic effector. Now, what makes the integration, what is located right in the middle between the sensory neuron and the motor neuron, the one that processes, integrates all this information, is actually the central nervous system, which again is the brain and the spinal cord. So, how can we summarize all the hundreds and hundreds of functions that these two important structures have in our body? Well, the brain, and we're going to study that later, but the brain is connected physically with some glands, part of the endocrine system, and is uh, with another structure where the autonomic nervous system relies on, the functions of the autonomic nervous system. These two structures through the brain can control the heart rate, the respiratory rate, the blood pressure, the force of contraction of your heart, and a lot of other uh, functions that we'll describe later on in like about two more chapters. Also, remember, coming out from the brain, we have cranial nerves, and they're going to innervate the structures of your face, neck, thorax, and abdomen. What we don't understand so much are these higher order functions, like what makes you what you are, so special, so smart, intelligence, consciousness, memory, personality, who uh, the fact that you are social or not, that you like to laugh, that you are tend to make a big drama about things, the face you react uh, to problems, problem solving quality, decision making, behavior, socialization, emotions, all of that relies the on the brain. Also, we're going to describe also this part, which is what we just explained. Okay, the integration between the sensory and motor, sensory input and motor output. Now, in the spinal cord, now we have the spinal nerves attached. We'll describe them later. This is a two-way communication between the brain and other structures, um, brain in general. And as we described in last video, is where the spinal reflexes take place. Now, in the next video, we are going to start describing the brain. The brain as an organ, all the different parts of the brain and their functions. Really, honestly, this is only a basic overview. After that, we're going to do the same thing with the spinal cord. And we finish this chapter. In the next chapter, we're going to describe the peripheral nervous system. So the nerves are coming out from the brain, the cranial nerves, and the nerves are coming out from the spinal cord, the spinal nerves. And in the chapter after that one, we're going to describe a section of this peripheral nervous system, which is the autonomic nervous system. So that's where we're heading. See you in the next video.